call has been issued to the public to reduce waste, the Cultural Division to host a regional festival on traditional games and toys later this year, and Public Service Day 2014 has officially been launched. Thank you for joining us for another edition of National Focus. I'm Colette Ambo. Stay with us for details of the headline stories and others after this.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is two courts in one? The CCJ has two functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely, and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Every 2 years, the Public Service takes time to recognize and appreciate the service given by civil servants with the observance of Public Service Day. This year's event, themed An Efficient Service, a Sustainable Future, was officially launched on Wednesday at the Fort Young Hotel. Acting Minister responsible for the public service, Honorable Alvin Bernard, was among the first to publicly thank public servants at the ceremony.
The theme of this year's Public Service Week, or Public Service Day, is quite justifiable: an efficient service for a sustainable future. Therefore, I extend an invitation for our continued partnership in the prevailing domestic and global economic environment. I thank all public officers for and appeal to your continued commitment that is reflective of an appreciation of prevailing constraints and associated options.
Steve Farrell, Cabinet Secretary, is head of the Public Service. His remarks centered on the significant role played by civil servants in the task of nation building.
Many of us can recall some peak challenging periods in the life of our nation, periods of national turmoil in our political, social, and economic history, when the public service had to rise up beyond the call of duty to secure literally the standard of living of our citizens. A quick reflection of the past 3 or so decades brings to mind the role of the public service in addressing the economic and social impact of the political and natural disaster challenges of the late 1970s, the intense structural adjustment and privatization of the 1980s, and in more recent times, the stabilization era of the early 2000s, which seemed to have mischievously followed by the financial crisis that is still with us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, folks, the public service, therefore, truly depicts sustainability, resilience, and hard work.
Chief Personnel Officer in the Establishment, Personnel and Training Department, Irma Edwards, gave a brief history of Public Service Day in Dominica.
We always welcome the opportunity afforded us biennially to shine the light on the achievements, contributions, and talents of public officers. More importantly, such a time presents an invaluable occasion to highlight the commitment, dedication, and resilience of public officers, those currently serving, as well as those enjoying the peace and tranquility that retirement offers. It all started 15 years ago when a public officer, Mr. Lazarus Blah, who is now retired, took the initiative to share with us the strides that the Trinidad and Tobago Public Service had been making in celebrating and showcasing the work of public officers. This sparked our interest, which was fanned into a flaming ball of fire as we undertook the arduous task of introducing a similar event in Dominica.
On the calendar for this year's observance are charitable donations, dollar days, a sports day, hikes, a talent night, a church service, and the anticipated awards recognition ceremony on Public Service Day, December 5th. Educational activities have also been planned.
Beginning July, a series of talks and showcase of activities have been planned. Topics ranging from retirement benefits for public officers, climate change, occupational health and safety, being prepared for disasters, and insight on wills and testimonies are a few topics that we will be discussing. At some of the sessions, we also hope to equip participants in certain life skills regarding backyard gardening and composting, fish preparation and preservation, home safety tips, just among a few. And these activities will be taking place at the end of every month, the last Friday from July.
We'll bring you more from that launching in a subsequent newscast. General Manager of the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation, Florian Mitchell, has elaborated on the need for Dominican consumers to reduce the amount of waste going to the landfill. Mitchell was speaking with GIS News on Monday when he stated that there are several reasons for this call. One is that the facility established for waste disposal for the entire island has 6 years of its lifespan left.
Most everything at your home you could reuse. All your composted material, well, that don't really need to come to the shop. You could, all your food peeling, your waste from your kitchen, you could compose that. So that doesn't necessarily go in the landfill. Your cardboard, your plastics, your cans, all those materials could be recycled. So that means none of those material really need to go to the landfill. You understand? So if you could remove all that, let's say you could remove 90% of your waste, then you have like 10% of your garbage coming to your landfill. So if your projected lifespan of your landfill was 10 years, imagine removing all that waste. It would extend it by about a good 75%. But space is an issue because in Dominica our recycling initiative, not just Dominica but probably I would say in the US, it's not something that is on the front burner, and that is what we're trying to do at Service soon, to bring it on the front burner. It's not something on the front burner, and because of that, our landfill space is becoming very limited.
Mitchell said further that very limited options exist at this time outside of the Fockley landfill.
So in the next few years, the government of Dominica may have to acquire land, build another landfill, and we're trying to move away from that because land is precious space. And if we don't have landfill, then you could use that public space the government is trying to acquire. You could probably have a stadium, a playing field, or some housing development, you know. And probably we could explore different method of landfilling. Probably may not have landfill. Probably we could use incineration instead. But those things have a lot of cost. Somebody may say, alright, you could use an incinerator, but then the capital cost for an incinerating plant might be more than a landfill, might be $50 million. Just the capital cost, and then you're even talking about maintenance.
The quantity of waste making its way to the single landfill is also said to be reflecting poorly on Dominica's image as a clean, green, and eco-friendly island.
If we could reduce reuse, I think that is the way for Dominica and for waste management. We would have less pollution. For example, our landfill is lined. Yes, it is lined. What if for some strange reason the membrane becomes contaminated? and that garbage water starts seeping to the environment and releasing to the stream. You understand? So if we can encourage recycling, all those environmental aspects that could possibly happen, may happen, even if you have a controlled environment for landfill, you could eradicate all those things. So it's a win-win for the environment and it's a win-win for Dominica.
Even with a population of 69,000 people, the official says too much waste reaches the landfill, especially since so much of it is reusable. A waste characterization study conducted in 2002 reveals that plastics comprise 16% of waste at the national landfill. Coupled with the little-known fact that the average plastic bottle takes 450 years to degrade, the matter of waste reduction is clearly a growing issue for the Nature Isle. In related news, recycling can become the norm in Dominica, one clear garbage bag at a time. The Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation earlier this year rolled out a recycling program where consumers sort their waste by recyclability. This program, which is still in its pilot phase, is currently available in Atlantic communities and Bath Estate, Elms Hall, and Santa Roma. Based on a statement by General Manager of the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation, Florian Mitchell, there is overwhelming interest in the initiative from the rest of the island. He says there is a way for other communities to do their part for Dominica's clean and green image.
Some of the communities that we are collecting recyclables, we were not able to give them those blue crates that you see in Bath Estate and Ambo because we did not have sufficient. So what we were asking them to do, all your recyclable material put in a clear bag, and even if you live in a community where recyclable is not an option for you, you could still use a clear bag. When that garbage comes and it is tipped on the landfill, our guys would see the clear bag and in their mind they would know it's recyclable material, so they would pull it out, our cat operator or landfill attendant, and then we would collect it on the landfill and do our final sorting. So even if solid waste is not, for example, in Mao or in Soufriere or any of the community point, Michelle, where we do not have that system, and you want to participate, all we're saying is you come to your village council office because we made those bags available to the village council, so it's very easy for the people within the community to go to their councils and collect the clear bags. And you could put all the recyclable material in that clear bag, put it out in your general collection. When that vehicle comes to the landfill and tip, our guys would see that clear bag, they would pull it out, and then we would do our sorting. So these are other avenues that we open up that people could participate in other communities.
Mitchell revealed that the corporation is looking to expand and tweak its system for maximum efficiency.
What we are doing presently, all the recyclable material is just being disposed in one shop. Probably in the near future, we would probably want to have further separation. For example, we take all your paper, all your cans, and all your plastic together. Probably in the near future, we may want you to put your paper, probably magazines, all kinds of paper. We may want you to put that out on a separate day because of a compactor shop. If you have a little moisture, that paper is going to get wet, so we might have some little issues with the material that we're collecting. But because that is the way forward, we just wanted that to be instilled in the public, so we started like that. But in the near future, we might want to improve on that system itself. But for now, that's what we do. We do bulk collections. Everything you have that is recyclable material, you put it out, the truck passes from around 8 a.m. and then we collect that material from your house.
Maximum efficiency, he says, would also require further and more specific sorting by consumers. The main challenge, he says, is the services of a single compacted truck for recyclables.
Equipment plays a major role in collections. If you don't have equipment, you cannot collect efficiently, you cannot collect on time, and then it would be somewhat discomplimentary to your clients that, hey, we instituted this program, you came to our house, you told us to do this, and then your responsibility to ensure that it's collected on a time schedule, you're not doing it. So it's somewhat like why should I do that now? Because sorry, this is not punctual, see? So you don't want to have a system full scale and then you cannot meet your obligations.
Despite that challenge, Michel says the corporation welcomes participation of stakeholders.
What I would like to see is probably a greater partnership with the local media. Many times, environmental aspects is not something that is highlighted too much. Most times people want money up front to have programs, and sometimes entities like Solid, we don't always have money to pay for ads and free spots. So we think probably we could have a nice little partnership with the media houses and to sell reduced waste recycled, because the cost for a landfill, as we know, the operation of landfill is a lot of money. And it's not just to soil waste, but soil waste is an entity that was established to assist the public in waste reduction. And if there is a high cost of operation to soil waste, it's actually to the businesses and the general public.
From consumers, all it takes is the extra clear bag required for sorting recyclable waste. The Cultural Division is hoping to host a regional festival to focus on traditional games and toys later this year. Cultural Projects Officer at the Cultural Division, Gregory Rabes, told GIS News in an interview on Monday that the decision came after attending the Festige, Festival of Traditional Toys, in Guadeloupe from June 11th to 15th.
We were able to observe the various parts of the festival in terms of the programs. We also participated in a forum on traditional games. I made a presentation on the situation of traditional games and toys in Dominica at the forum, and the forum was attended, by schools in Guadeloupe. They came in and they were able to experience hands-on experience in terms of having fun with the toys or actually playing some of the traditional games. And on other days it was focusing more on the adult population and so on. And one of the decisions we took at the Festige in Guadeloupe was to work towards the creation of a regional federation on traditional games and toys.
Rabes revealed that Festige, which is carded for October this year, will take on a similar format to the one in Guadeloupe.
It will be of a regional character as well, and we expect participation from Haiti, Martinique, Guadeloupe, St. Lucia. And at this Festige, we will continue the discussions at the forum on advancing the sort of federation and the collaborating together to promote and to do research and so on traditional games and toys of the Caribbean.
Rabes relayed some of the plans for the festival.
Essentially, we are looking at probably about 3 days. One day will be definitely dedicated to the schools. We're looking at the 10th of October. On the 9th, there will be a forum, as I said, which will be like part 2 of the one held in Guadeloupe. And on the Saturday will be, again, for more adults, family friendly, with their kids as well, that come and have some fun. We are still working on the final venue and on all the details of the program, but it most likely will be at the National Stadium or the Botanic Gardens. These are the 2 venues we are looking at.
Teacher at the St. Mary's Primary School, Bert Paul, and author Mara Manley accompanied Rabes to the festival in Guadeloupe. The Dominica HIV Prevention Unit is encouraging all nationals, especially males, to get tested for HIV and AIDS. On June 27th and 28th, the unit will provide free HIV testing to fulfill the mandate of Regional Testing Day. Coordinator of the Testing and Counseling Program within the HIV unit, Mary Williams, says this year the unit is targeting men as a result of elevated male positive status results over the years.
This year we are targeting men's organizations primarily. This is because over the years we have found that although more women test for HIV, yet more men test positive. More women access testing, yet more men test positive. And that is a concern to us. So we are hoping that men will take advantage this year of the opportunity to come in and get to know their HIV status. We know that, of course, men normally are not a health-seeking group. So that is why we're targeting them and encouraging them to come in and have the HIV test done.
For the calendar year 2013, Dominica's HIV Prevention Unit recorded 15 new cases of HIV and AIDS infections. She says male lifestyles are a major contributor to increased positive results every year and urged men to take responsibility for their sexual health.
You know that some men, they have several partners. Some of them, they are having sex with other men. In our survey that we did some few years back on men having, men having sex with other men, we found that 26% of the men who were surveyed, there was also testing done for them, and 26% of those that were surveyed tested positive for HIV. So we think that that may play a significant role in the fact that more men are testing positive. And we want men to be responsible, take the responsibility for their sexual health. So we're hoping that when they come in and they receive the counseling and the information that we have to share with them, they will begin to think and make choices that would help them to reduce the risk of HIV infection to themselves as well as to their partners, whether male or female.
Testing will be done in the HIV prevention unit in Roseau and all health districts across the island on the 27th and at the People's Pentecostal Church on June 28th. The regional testing day is a result of a collaboration between the Caribbean Broadcast and Media Partnership on HIV and AIDS and Scotiabank. For further information, please contact the National HIV and AIDS Response Program Secretariat at 266-3570, 266-3569, or 440-6876. And that's it for the English segment of National Focus. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, point d'office contre chairman autorité OECS, c'est l'Honorable Skerritt, travaille contre chairman qui mettait autre attention pour une organisation là bien simple et puis en bon règle. Honorable Skerritt fait parole qui ont tant comme ça, pendant la globalisation qui a existé, il y a une attention bien formidable, méritée, pour une position comme ça. Premier ministre Skerritt dit autant priorité à l'Est là, c'est pour moun et puis pays CARICOM adopter CCJ comme plus gros l'audience Caraïbe. Et de en bas leadership là, chaque pays qui accepte CCJ. Premier ministre Skerritt qui aussi garder devant pays séparer information pour développement ailleurs. Honorable Skerritt dit malgré OECS ni en petite population, il a déjà achivé autant de développement. Dans la nouvelle, le département établissement, une fois encore, a organisé activité service public l'année 2014. Il a tenu une cérémonie bon matin là, où là, il a déclaré différentes activités qui sont formées par célébration là. Parole délivrée par le Chief Personnel Officer Edwards, secrétaire cabinet Steve Ferrell, et puis ministre service public, Honorable Senator Alvin Bernard. En parole est délivrée, Senator Bernard criait pour coopération world servant public.
Moment c'est public servants là pour coopération. Coopération pour avec gouvernement coopération avec eux. Puis nous copains pour nous travailler ensemble pour nous sauver. Nous besoin de gouvernement besoin public service là, c'est public service là besoin leadership gouvernement. So ça c'est plus important commission moi aujourd'hui. Mais moi parler d'autres bagaille qui a affecté mon public service. Puis nous copains nous connaître bagaille qui boit pas tout bon actuellement la global economy comme yo regardé là il a affecté Dominique ces public service là non yo aussi un problème yo ni famille famille yo ka gade yo ne kan plus affaires les check fois yo ne pour changer travail yo pour yo ne pour train pour faire ça pour taper plus l'argent pour garder votre famille yo tous ces qualités bataille ça yo kan pour faire avec. So moi recognize by ça nous parler de ça.
En autre nouvelle, plusieurs projets de développement prend place en Wharton-Waven. Parole celle-là sorti au même parlement, Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre. Honorable McIntyre aussi mentionné d'autres développements en Valley-là, bagay y ka kwe ke affordé on lot terme en l'office.
Multi-center ba yo ka to ba the computer là avec une autre parce que qui solve river tos nous ka et tout. So là ou ka record tia, ka record screws, ou ka record thick maglucio. Sulfur rivetors et puis il y a un lot neuf à là où à côté là il y a un glue à côté Shangri-La c'est un low place qui est glue à balai qui ça c'est what and moon can benefit de ça c'est mon bien compté pas now si vous allez côté Cochrane ça c'est l'autre place à Dominica il faut un rabbit festival platé c'est agriculture avec une toutes ces moun jeune moun à Rose Valley nous avons mis des transportation by comme si yo ça descend pour Roseau pour apprendre l'école avec tout yes week here nous tout moun qui plus vieux seniors à Rose Valley you can benefit of yes week here program
et puis finalement le département SIDA a échoué son cla pour plein nom testé pour SIDA selon un parole qui sorti au département là les 27 et les 28 juin yo ke kawan service pour tester moun kon le 27 c'est journée pour tester région là département là ka fait parole comment est important pour moun tester à en manière connaître conditions si ou non yo ne sida selon officier département là Mary Williams l'année ça là yo ka targeté participation nom kon autant de yo ka tester positive en l'année là qui passé. Williams aussi fait parole que Dominique a continué à taper record case 9 hors secteur production PA. Williams dit manière nom qui conduit la vie à yo, ça a cautionné résultat positif et puis qu'a aussi crié à yo pour prendre responsabilité la vie sexuelle à yo. Yo qui conduit ces tests là en département SIDA en Roseau et puis tout district santé tout en PA et puis les 27 en l'église pentecostale en Roseau. Pour plein d'informations, moun sa contacté DC6 3579 DC6 3569 ou 440 6876. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Moi, c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up, tips to help you keep your pockets in check.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is two courts in one? The CCJ has two functions, an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
In-studio discussions, Insight, Creole News, Road to the Throne, Calypso, Creole Festival, Carnival, and lots more local programming. See it all on the Government Information Service, your first for local news.
No one likes wasting money, yet saving can prove to be a very hard task. Here are some simple ways you can better manage your wallet and become more financially flexible. Try to pay off all or most of your debts first. That way you have a clear idea of how much money you have left at your disposal. Set saving goals with time frames and then figure out how much you will have to save per week, per month, or per paycheck to attain each of these goals. Keep a record of your expenses and do your best to trim off a little of the total each month. Make a budget and keep to it. Lessen your use of credit cards and open an interest-bearing savings account. And finally, don't say you will save whatever cash is left. Pay yourself first. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. Look us up on facebook.com/GIS News Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Colette Ambo. Thanks for watching.